Hi everybody, my name is Deana and I am going to do a little instructional video on how to make these bloody god-awful harmonica holders hold your harmonica without them flipping out and feel a lot more comfortable, because I find that this thing is really uncomfortable and it's the cheapest option. So what I've done so far is I have layered the top here with strips of bicycle tire inner tube. What I did is I cut it into half and then I cut 6 pieces out of it lengthwise, and I just put a little bit of, I don't know if you can see that, but there is some tape just holding it on the ends there, and I'm starting to do the bar below so that it will also be secure, because I find that it is not otherwise. I'm not sure if you can see this really well, but I'll get some inner tube pieces here, see if that will help. So it's really difficult to do this because you actually have to hold this down, and it actually has a lot of strength to it, really, believe it or not. And then what I've done is I've taken some, you know, that stuff that you put in your cupboards to kind of stop your dishes from moving around or get paint on them. Well, there's a bit of a gap here, and I find that this gap is actually does not help the situation at all. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of filling the gap a little bit with this stuff. It's not really going to fill it all the way up, but it's going to give it a bit more of a cushion, I guess, so less scratchy as well on your instrument, because that's the last thing you want is your instruments all scratched up. So I'm just going to start by holding one end first and wrapping to the edge. You really gotta pull tight on both the this whole springy system here, and you know what I mean, and the inner tube. Otherwise, you'll get kinks, and it will probably not hold very well, I would imagine. Now, the reason why I decided to do this is because I noticed that it was really scratching up my, I have this 127-year-old Kosh chromatic harmonica that I refurbished, and the silver on it is starting to get a couple little scratches on it from when I'm trying to be careful, but you can't always be careful in every situation. And it literally popped out like 5 times in one night, so I figured, you know, I have to do something. So before I continue any further, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get something to lay on top of here so that this isn't sliding all over the place, hopefully. I'll be right back. Now we're back. I just found a piece, actually this is just kind of rubber that I use for mouse pad, really, because I didn't have a mouse pad, so I made one. I make everything. So this is what I'm doing now. It's just kind of really securely wrapping it as hard as I can, getting it as tight as I can. And what's kind of exciting about this is I just got done also creating a tipper for my Irish drum, and I put this on there as well to make it a little more I don't know, I guess less slidey in your hand. You know how tippers are, I guess, for lay people that don't understand drum terminology or, you know, accessories to drums. It's basically a beater that I made out of an old drumstick, and I will show you what I did afterwards, but you just kind of make it thin it out in the middle, and you have to leave kind of like a spot where your fingers can hold on to it so that it doesn't slip while you're trying to play it, because triplets can be pretty quick and it can go flying. So I'll show you what that looks like after I'm done this, and I might actually make another one just so I can do a full video. So stay tuned for that. This is actually working out quite well, holding this in place. And after I'm done wrapping this completely, I am then going to go and build up the sides a little, because I got a tiny neck and it likes to slide, you know, on tiny necks. So I'm going to use a really old, really thick sweater for that. And It's black as well, so it will match and hopefully look alright. But I'll also show you how I do that. This is not the easiest thing in the world to do. I'm going to flip it around, see if that'll make it a little easier. Haha. I think we have succeeded in making this slightly easier. Not a lot, but slightly. Oh man, that's not easy. Hard on the fingers. It's a good thing I'm a piano player and a flute player and bass player, and I play a lot of finger instruments, so my fingers are pretty strong. It's probably one of the strongest things on my body. I also sew a lot, so. If you find it's too difficult, you might want to find something to kind of jimmy in between to kind of open it up and keep it open for you, so that you don't have to deal with, you know, always doing this. Probably would have been smart on my part. That hindsight, right? Yeah, we reached the end, but I'm going to go back over it because I got enough here. And I find that the edging is so sharp on these things that really kind of needs it. Like, especially, like, I really don't like hurting my instruments. It actually hurts me a little to hurt my instruments, especially something like that. Like, that was given to me by a dear friend, and I really didn't want it to get hurt. So, this is my solution, and I'm sure you might have your own, actually. Hockey tape might be a good solution. I don't know, yeah. There's so many options out there. Maybe a piece of a pool noodle could work. Leather would be perfect, actually. Leather would be way better than any of this, but unfortunately I'm a little low on leather right now. Although going to a secondhand store and picking up some leather is always a good idea. There's so much you can make out of that, and actually there's so much you can repair using leather. So it's really a good option, especially if you have instruments and you're poor like me and you don't want to end up, you know, spending to have every instrument repaired and you're a DIY type of person. If you're capable, you'll find a use for it, trust me. I'm going to be repairing my trumpet case with some leather, actually. Actually, you know what? No. I'm going to use some old denim. That will look pretty cool, I think. Some leather accents, perhaps. Look at that. Perfect amount. I can't believe that. Same thing happened to the top. I actually went over the top 3 times because it's so skinny. But it was the perfect amount. Very weird. And I like to pre-cut my pieces of tape just so you don't have to deal with scissors and stuff holding something like this together. I want to show you what it is that I'm going to use for the neck part of the whole procedure here. I've decided to take this really big, lovely sweater, and I'm going to take the sleeves off it because it's only used as a kitty bed anyway, and I don't think she'll mind if the sleeves are missing. So I'm going to snap those off and I'll show you what I'm going to do with them. Hey everyone, it's Deana again. As you recall, I had done the top part of this, and I will bring this closer so you can actually see the quality of work that has been accomplished here, and it should hold any harmonica no matter what, and definitely will not scratch them. So there's your result there. I also secured these a little bit because I had one pop out and they're really not supposed to, so it's probably a good idea just to make sure those parts there that tend to move and pop out are well secured as well. So now that I've done that part, I'm going to do the neck part because I really hate it. It's so uncomfortable, and it's made for like a guy with like a Neanderthal neck, I think. So this is the material I've got. I got some nice big thick lovely sleeves here from a nice big thick sweater jacket type thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, you know, take this apart and wrap the really good warm fuzzy parts around here so that it's nice and secure and snug around my neck when I apply. So how we're going to start this? We are going to start this by grabbing a pair of scissors, of course. And I always like Singer sewing scissors. Ha! Say that 6 times fast. Singer sewing scissors, because they are super sharp, and that is exactly what they're meant for. Sometimes you can just go ahead and rip the seam, and it will rip easily, especially if it's old material. And that's probably the best way to go, because that way you're not, you know, wasting your time trying to scissor your way through heavy, thick, nearly impossible to cut material. There we go. And now I have to find out how far this will go. And it goes pretty far, actually. Alright. So, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to lay this down this way so that I can see how much of this material I actually have to work with and where it should be located, really. I'm not going to be fancy about it. I just want this to function and fit on my neck, and I want it to look like, I don't know, something out of production, I guess, rather than a piece of metal strung around your neck. Like, how much sense does that make? And that's not working out like that. So we had to cut in strips, which is fine. I like cutting in strips. I'll take the sleeve off first, because that's kind of the narrow area. And it's really kind of useless, so we're just going to throw that right away. Well, I might use it for another project, so we'll keep that on the side burner with all my other scraps. I know. Believe it or not, I'm not a hoarder. I just have a lot of craft scraps in bins that are well organized, trust me. Only way to go, in my opinion. So, since this is such a strangely shaped object, I think what I'll do is I will build it up on one side and then build it up on the other side and then build it up on here, and then what I'll do is I'll put a cover over it so that it looks good, because nobody wants their crap to look crappy, right? So let's start that. We need 3 pieces, 2 short and fairly long, so we'll go with the short ends on the sides and the long end on this part here. I want to make sure it's nice and thick. So, even if I have to use 2 sleeves, I'm going to use 2 sleeves. And honestly, make it as comfortable as you possibly can, because you're going to be playing your instrument. 2 instruments when you're playing this thing, obviously. And you need to be comfortable and relaxed in order to enjoy what you're doing. And it will come across on stage, whether you're having fun or if you're not. So, you really want to come across like you're having fun, I would say. I like that. People tend to clap a lot more and drink a lot more and like your Facebook pages a lot more. Hint, hint, I would love to have some likes, subscriptions, anything like that would be great. Pass me along to your buddies that do DIY stuff like this, especially the girls, because honestly, there aren't a lot of us that do. That I've found so far. I shouldn't say that. I don't know if there is for sure. I just haven't found any myself. So all I'm doing is making sure all that material is tucked in real tight around it. And nothing is really sticking out. And of course, it probably would have been a good idea for me to have brought over my fabric glue first, but of course I didn't think of that. So I'm going to clamp this with a cord clamp, because I'm a musician and I got lots of cord clamps. There we go. So that I don't lose where I'm at. And I'm going to go get my glue. Be right back. So we're back. And I just wanted to let you know the kind of glue that I'm using is Fabric Fusion, or Fusion Fabric, or something like that. Yeah, Fabric Fusion. It's really good stuff. It works, but you have to also make sure that you tape it for a little while so that it stays in. You could use shoe glue. I use that a lot, but you want to do that outside because it's really stinky. I also have something called Flexible Stretch. So that'll be the finished product thing that I use, just because, you know, when you put something on your neck, it tends to move a lot. So you want it to be able to kind of stretch with it, so it's not going to completely bust open at some point and blow everything out of the water and make you look foolish. So this is how we're going to start this now. We have this clamp like we did before, or you saw that before. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fingers and kind of tuck the ends in. So that's not doing anything to the mechanics of it, because you don't want that to get in the way, really. So now that that's done, I'm going to clamp that too. No, not too big. So we need to tape it. And that's okay too. You're welcome to use anything that will actually work. So don't have to follow my example. This is just ideas. But it's always good to have ideas. Yeah, so now I'm going to finish this part with my fabric fusion. Yeah. I like to lay things up so I can see how they're sitting even or uneven. And it comes out clear and almost like it's really kind of gooey looking. So it's almost like sugar, really. But it doesn't have the stick, so that's the bonus about it again. You always put your top on so you don't dry glue out, obviously. And squeeze that glue right down inside. Get your fingers dirty. It's gonna happen. You can't prevent that. DIY is dirty work. But you always feel super proud when you accomplish something, especially when everybody tells you that you're being foolish or ridiculous, or, you know, I don't know. I think people just think I'm eccentric and weird anyway, which is fine. I like that too. So what I'm going to do about this is I'm actually going to tape that into place. I really don't want this to bust open before I get the top layer on there. And there we are. There's one piece of tape, and this is painter's tape, so I mean it comes off really easy off of any surface, really. And it's pretty much this thing you use for pretty much anything. I love it. Just like that. And then you gotta wait for a while for it to dry, of course. This edge, you don't really have to worry about it so much because it's going to be under the other edge, but you do want to kind of, I would put a piece of electrical tape over it actually, because we're actually going to put a second layer on there, which is going to be thick as this, if not thicker. So yeah, let's just tape that. I think that's probably the best plan, because you're not going to see it. It's going to be underneath, and it's going to be secure. You know what? I think I'll do that to the other end too, now that I'm thinking about it. And that happens. Sometimes you get ideas while you're doing stuff that make more sense than what your previous or original idea was. So go with it. It works usually. Everything is common sense. If you don't got that, you don't got a chance in life. And you might as well quit while you're ahead. Get a restaurant job. I shouldn't say that. I've worked as a waitress a lot, and it is not easy. Like, the patience you have to have is unbelievable to be a waitress, especially a bartender. So that was rude of me, and I apologize. Very uncalled for. But what I mean is, if you're not able to think for yourself and adapt and figure things out on the fly, think outside the box, like what materials are around, what do you have that would work for a certain situation. It's so important to be able to do that, especially when Armageddon comes, woohoo, Nibiru, or whatever the hell it is now these days. Yeah, so when that happens, If it happens, probably won't. I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm no expert, that's for sure. I know nothing about nothing. I'm just revolving on this planet like everybody else. No more, no better, but certainly no worse. And as you can see, I'm taking it apart because that was a much better idea. And it worked a lot better. And I'm going to keep that in the actual video too, so that you can see, you know, like, you can adjust at the fly. You can figure something else out on the fly that might work better, and just go with it. See what happens. And this, oh, it's not good. That tape is not strong. Alright. See, and then mistakes happen. So we're gonna Jimmy rig that a little bit. A little bit more tape, but this time I'm gonna use electrical. I know I've only got a little bit of it left. Well, I want to save that finishing product in case I need it. So I'm just gonna use a little bit more of this. And make sure it's really well sealed at the edge here and away from the mechanics, because that's really important. And yes, I make lots of faces when I do stuff, I know. People make fun of me all the time. In a good way. I concentrate hard, and it's obvious. It's written all over my face when I do. There's nothing wrong with that. Being an expressive person means that you're a creative person, you can think for yourself, and you have some kind of form of intelligence. And I can't see a problem with this. Yeah. Except for when you forget where you put things that are right in front of you. Which I often do. And we're just cutting the second piece for the other side there. And going over through, yay! Oh, this is such good material. It's so cozy and it feels awesome, actually. The reason why I'm using this sweater, man, it was such a good sweater, but the zipper busted, and it busted in a way that it was just really not repairable, but, well, it was repairable, but it would have taken a lot of effort, and I could use the sweater for a lot of different things, so I did. One of the things that I used it for was the cat house. So I made my kitty a cat house, and she's really happy about that. I don't know if you ever watched the show Red Green, but he always said something like along the lines of, if they don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Well, in my opinion, if they don't find you obedient as a woman, subservient, they should at least find you self-reliant and independent and very capable. Every woman has that in them. And anybody that tells you different is jealous. Don't listen. Don't let small people live in your head. Live your life like there is no tomorrow, and you will always be happy, especially if you have no expectations and you don't listen and don't care about what other people think. It's the only true freedom. It really is. And you can do it for you. You don't have to rely on anybody else for that kind of freedom. That's solely and completely on you. So, sorry about that. The camera cut out on me just momentarily. And like I was showing you, I finished that part right there. And we're going to go from there. So, I cut another piece to go here, but it's way too big still. So I'm going to take some pieces off that as well, real quick. Ah, and I have my scissors over here. Of course. Boink, boink. Alright. And scissors are cutting. Ha ha ha. I know, I'm weird. It's okay. Weird is good. If everybody was the same, the world would be awfully boring. Still need to take another inch or two off. Alright, there we go. That should do it. Oh yeah. So what I'm just doing here is I'm just getting the edging done on this side so that it doesn't, you know, look all mismatched or weird. It could totally happen. So I've done it, I won't lie. Made things look a little strange after a while. But that's what experimentation is all about. If you don't experiment, nothing gets discovered. So do it. Always. Anytime you get a chance, just try stuff. Even if it doesn't work, it was worth trying, because then you learn something about why it didn't work. Alright, now I noticed that the middle here, because I have the edges all done up on this side, is kind of lacking. So I'm going to take those little extra scraps that I cut off, and they're small enough that they can actually be wrapped right around that section that feels a little hollow. At least not so well. And there's another piece too. This doesn't feel as nicely done as the edging here because it's built up times 2, right? So you do want this to be comfortable. You definitely don't want it falling apart on you, because especially in the middle of a song, that would be awful, especially if you're gigging. I've had some pretty epic fails with equipment before. None of it my fault, of course, because I'm perfect in every way. It's a burden being wonderful, like me. Kidding. It's a Steel Panther reference. Check them out, they're awesome. Anyway, so I know it looks like a god-awful mess, but that's because I had to build it up a little. And we're still going to cover it, so it is going to look nice when we're done. It just doesn't look so awesome right now. Alright. There's my seed piece. And we're going to need it. Why is this not easy? Okay. So I'm wrapping that right around like this, because this is difficult. There's so many little pieces flying everywhere. There we go. That's better. Alright. So there's one part, side, whatever. Try to say part and side at the same time. My brain said, no. You're wrong. Listen to yourself, woman. Did you know that talking to yourself is a sign of intelligence? I'm actually pretty freaking smart, because I'm talking to myself all the time. Or crazy, which I've been told I am, so, by lots of people. And I'm okay with that, because you know what? Crazy creates, and I'm a creative crazy. This is how I keep from going stir crazy. Other than playing the instruments, of course. Fixing it. I like learning about all this stuff. The best part is, I don't YouTube it or nothing like that. I just do it. And I find that I learn more by just doing, rather than learning from somebody else. And yes, I know how ironic that sounds considering I'm making a video, but it is good to get some instruction first about materials and how they work and that sort of thing. So that's kind of why I'm doing this for you guys, is because I want you to see that, you know, there's ways to work around things if you don't have them. There's ways to fix things if you don't have the money to get them fixed, which is my case. So don't despair. There is always help out there. Even though it can seem quite daunting at times. There we go. Now that is a good shape. I like the shape. Let me see how it feels first before I wrap it. And it's still not good enough. I still need more. Yeah? I still need more cushioning. So, that means we're wrapping the other arm around. Buckle up, kids. It's going to be a little longer. I think this time I might just wrap it like this. Give it a try. Why not? What can it hurt, possibly? If it doesn't work, I'll tear it apart. You know, whatever. Work it out so that it does work. You're never trapped. You can always go back and fix a mistake. As long as you admit to yourself that you made a mistake. It's just half of my problem, I think. I have a real hard time admitting when I'm wrong. And I have no problem admitting that, though, which is kind of weird. And that didn't work. Not long enough. So, we got to lengthen it by opening it. And I always cut up the seam because really it's easier. You don't want to be cutting through seam if you can help it, because it's going to dull your scissors. And scissors are one of those things that are really hard to sharpen because they have a beveled edge. And the beveled edge is at such an angle that you would have to have some serious skills to be able to get that angle with just your eyeballing it. Unless you had an angle sharpener. Like for a chainsaw or something. That might work, I don't know. I've never tried it. But that's going to be something I try now. And I'm going to go lengthwise this time. Because I think that it's going to look a little more better, like well done, like more finished, I guess I should say. Is that a word? Finished a little better? Kind of like a better window dressing. How's that? Yeah. So it's going to look less like a DIY project and more like a fabricated piece, hopefully. That's still not long enough. That's crazy. Okay, well, that means we gotta cut this right down the middle. Otherwise, we might be in trouble. And try not to cut your, bedding. I always check to make sure I've got just the material and nothing that's not supposed to be in it while I'm doing it as well. Because nobody wants to sleep with their foot out of a hole that you just created by accident. Maybe all I need is the felt part in the center. Ooh, that might be just the ticket. Alright. And I could probably strip wrap that, actually. I'm going to strip wrap that. I'll tell you what I mean here in a second. You'll see exactly what I mean, actually. I'm going to cut this into strips. I'm going to put the batting on first. So I'm going to do it in layers. I'm going to wrap it around first with the batting. And then I'm going to finish it with that nice, cozy, soft outer shell. There we go. Alright. And because I'm wrapping it, what I can do too is just kind of put the rough edging in. Like that. So we kind of hide it a little bit. And I'm going to fold that right up like that. Perfect. Yeah. And what we do is we just take the edging, make sure it stays. Alright, so good news. I was able to find some Gorilla Tape. I don't have any electrical tape left, but this is kind of neat stuff. You can tell it's like super extra thick. I don't know if you can see it or not. Let's bring that a little closer maybe. See how thick that is? It's pretty crazy. So hopefully it'll hold things together. Well, Gorilla, right? Gorilla glue, Gorilla tape should do it. And I'm just gonna go straight across like that, this one. Just to make sure I get it all. There we go. And now that's securely in place with the edge of the Gorilla tape on that side. Cut it. Because there we go. This stuff's cool. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. Go get some Gorilla Tape. It's really fun. I can see lots of cool stuff with this. I actually make curling shoes, too. So, this would be really great for holding things in place when you're making your curling shoes. Like, you really have to do a lot of gluing with that. There's that. And one more piece, because this is kind of, I didn't have a lot of electrical tape, so it's kind of messed up a little bit. Just trying to conserve. Because like I said before, I'm poor. So conservation is kind of a big deal to me. And I'm a hippie who loves nature and trying to save the world by doing what I can to help. Doesn't mean I'm perfect, it just means I'm trying. And really, that's all you can really ask for these days. There's just too much technology, you can't avoid it. Unless you do what I did and go move out to the Yukon, but I mean really. Really. How many of you are actually going to do that? I doubt it. And I wouldn't recommend it because it gets awfully cold in the winter. But it gets super hot in the summer, so there really isn't any happy medium. It's like summer, winter, and like it literally, it snows like out of the blue, and it was like warm the day before. Kind of weird that way. And then going so long, oh, there's the back comes off of this stuff. Oh my god, this stuff is so awesome. I found my new favorite stuff. Yeah. Wow, this stuff's really great. I'm getting so much more of this. Oh yeah, because this is going to hold my outer shell. I'm not even going to need to apply any more tape after that. It's going to hold my outer shell. This is amazing. I know, I get excited about weird things. That's what happens when you spend a lot of time alone doing these kinds of things. So, wow, that's so neat. I'm totally getting more of that. Yeah, that's gonna really help with the outer shell a lot. A lot actually. Man, I love this stuff, it's great. Shouldn't overlap that yet, I guess. There we go. Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, it's going to be so easy to put that outer shell on now. That's going to be awesome. No. Maybe. Maybe I spoke too soon. Uh-huh. You got to attach it back to the glue. You can't. Ah, that's the trick. That's the problem. No, it's not really a problem. It's just something you got to be aware of. So, Gorilla Glue, or Gorilla Tape, is actually kind of like Gorilla Glue. Only it's got an outside shell that you have to remove. And it can hold stuff, but you have to adhere back to the tape itself. The only way it works. Kind of like, see, crisscross? Excuse me, holding. It's a good thing, because I don't think I got anything left in here. I guess we'll see. Yeah, I probably should put a little bit in the middle, too. Yeah, look at that. All gone already. Wow. That's easy to get off. Oh, my finger's stuck. Oh, no! There. There. That's a little piece. Not much. You'll have to do. Whoa! Okay, that wasn't so fantastic. Let's try that again. Or that. It's not quite reaching. Shoot. Aw. That's okay. That's okay. I think we might have enough on there anyway. Okay. Now, what am I going to use for an outer shell? Ooh, this could be really good. Actually, you know what? I had an idea, and I'm going to run with it. I'm going to go grab the thing I need, and I'm going to be right back. So, just hang in. So, unfortunately, I have a problem with my camera. It likes to stop taking film after 9 minutes and 41 seconds for some reason. So, we missed out a little bit on what happened. So, I'm going to take it back a little bit, just so I can show you. what I did is I ended up scrapping the idea of using the outer or the inner shell because it just wasn't working. It was too slippery. It wasn't connecting properly. It just wasn't working. So I took the outer shell and I just loosely wrapped it for now. So everything is kind of loosely wrapped. It's not actually attached yet, except for this tiny little bit right here with tape. And I'm just going to continue wrapping until it's completely, it looks like a completed, finished. Oh, here we go. Of course, it's going to make it difficult now. There we go. There we are. Excellent. Perfect. Alright. So, as you can see, is now covered on one side. I've got to get a little bit more on this side. And this is not my outer shell, by the way. This is just kind of more padding because I found that it really didn't have enough padding. Man, I really had to build this one up. I've got a really tiny neck, so these things are really big. If you can get a good one, do it. But unfortunately, I don't have that luxury. So my $10 thing is turning into something that will probably be better than the $50 one when I'm finished. Ah, no, I ran out of tape. Well, that tape. I got plenty others. So, I'm just going to pinch these edges like this and bring them up so that they're kind of together. And that way, it doesn't look so loose and unraveled, really. I find that it's still navigating towards the mechanics a little. And not that that's a real bad thing, because, I mean, once I get the outer shell on, you're not going to even notice. But there's one end. And it's starting to look better. Alright, a little bit more cushioning on that side. So I have some more. Oh, please tell me I get a little piece. Yay, I do. Oh no, that's a sleeve. Hold on. I might have to. Oh no. Oh, there's a little piece. That's not going to be big enough, is it? Nope. I am going to have to use a sleeve, which is fine. So that means I'm going to cut the other sleeve too and use that on this side as well, because we want things to match. I'm a very matching type of person. I don't like it when things are out of balance. It actually drives me really crazy. That's why I'm always continuously organizing my craft stuff or organizing my room, or something gets out of place and it throws everything out of place for me. Really good at organizing. Seems to be something I'm meant to do for some reason. I find it very satisfying too. When your life is organized and you know where everything is and you don't have to stress looking for something. Ugh, like how much better is that? Way better. So I'm going to wrap from the bottom up to try to kind of pull it away from the mechanics a little. And I'm going to fold edging in so it doesn't look so undone again. And once again, I have no tape. I have no tape. So I'm going to pause this for a second and go find some tape. I'll be right back. You just sit tight. I've got these really cool long, well, I don't know what they're, leggings or something that I don't ever wear because they got these metal things and it's just, I don't know. I feel ridiculous wearing them. So I'm going to use them as decoration because I think, you know, like with the stretchiness, and it's not really metal, it's just, it looks like metal, so why not? So I'm going to cut the leg off. Well, first actually, I'm going to take this apart here. I'm not sure about what I'm doing, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because I have an idea that I think will work. Yeah. I'm going to lay that. Oof, I don't want to lose that screw. Okay, put that there. And now that the screw is undone, I have that whole section undone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the leg to fit this. But you know what? I might have No, I'm going to cover it at the metal, and I think I'm going to have to double it, actually. Actually, no, this is stretchy stuff. Never mind. I'm just going to cut one leg. Just like that. Right at the edge, right by the crotch. Alright, there it is. And I am going to thread that right on there. I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner. I could have done the whole friggin' thing like this. But you know, hindsight, right? And this is how we learn. And this is why we do the things we do. So that we can learn. Because learning is fun. And the day you stop learning is the day you start dying. That is my quote. I love it. Because it's so true. If you just give up and stop caring and stop learning, that's fine. Why are you even here? Because your body's going to shut down from inactivity and you're just going to wither away slowly. So get out there, learn as much as you can. When you get retired, go and find courses, free courses, find courses at schools that you always wanted to go to, you know, like anything. Just do anything. As long as it's fun and it's something you want. It doesn't even have to be fun if it's something you want. I like fun though. Fun's fun. I mean, it's a little on the sloppy side. I mean, a little bit, not bad, but I think, yeah, I need to tighten that. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I want this to really look good when I'm finished, and this is not doing it for me, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an edge, and I'm going to first, you know, pin it or sew it or something, so that it's not so wide. Yeah. Alright folks, again, I will be right back. I'm going to pin this so that it works, and we'll show you what we do. See you in a few minutes. Hi folks, I'm back. I just wanted to show you what I'm going to do quickly to this sleeve. Remember that little piece of material I had for wrapping it around there? I am going to be actually sewing, because it seems to be the best option really. So I'm going to sew this so that it's nice and snug and not loosely fitting. At least if I manage to do it, it will be that. I hope. There we go. So, first approach, all I did was I turned it inside out, folded it to the width I actually want it to be, and I'm just going to sew a line across so that it stays there. And we will see what it looks like when I'm done. I'll be right back. Okay, so I finished the sewing part. Now I'm going to flip it so you can see what I've done. So basically all I did was just kind of like even it out, sorry, before I flip it. All I did was even it and hand sew it, because this is very elasticy, and sewing it with a sewing machine is pretty tricky, especially with the heavy duty one like I have. So it's just best to do it by hand. It doesn't take that long and you're guaranteed to do a good job, rather than, you know, ripping your fabric, which is likely to happen with spandexy type of material. So I'm flipping it now, and we're going to see what it looks like. Oh, there's our sock type thing. I don't know what you would call it actually. Let's see if we can get it over this Gorilla Glue stuff. I really like this stuff. I'm totally buying more of that. In order to get it around, I think I'm going to have to do it like a sock. It's kind of tricky actually. It's a lot of material crammed into a tiny little sock-like structure. Oof. Wow, it's not easy. Alright, wow, she's tight, I'll tell you that. It's not going anywhere once I put it in place, I can pretty much guarantee. There we go. Starting. Getting there. Oh, not quite. You're stuck. There we go. Wow, like really good. That Gorilla Tape is really good. It like wouldn't even budge there for a second. Alright, let's pull that sock so it looks pretty. Or at least, you know, presentable. And away from the hardware again. Perfect. Okay, come on. Alright, so I got a little too much on this end, which means I'm going to pull some more of this way. Just to even it out a bit so it doesn't look all clumpy on one side, not the other. There we go. That's better. Alright. Looking like something that was created to look like something. Surprisingly. Well, not really surprisingly. I find if I put my mind to it, I can usually figure out how to do something pretty quickly. I'm folding it inside so that it's a little more tight to the edge. So what I can do is kind of push it up like this, pull it in a little bit. Oh shoot, wrap it around though to secure it in place. That works perfectly. Now, I've got a little bit of thread left here, so I'm just gonna sew that shut on the end so that it stays in place and away from the mechanics, the hardware. So, bear with me there, folks. Shouldn't be long. Just checking on the time because apparently my camera likes to quit after 9 minutes and 41 seconds, weirdly. Alright, pull that all the way around. And under. There we go. Alright. Alright, this is really starting to look like something nice. I'm loving it. It's going to be so much more comfortable too. The way it was before was just disastrous. It really wasn't comfortable, not even a little bit. Like, it actually felt like, all the time it felt like the harmonica was going to fall. And, or this thing was going to fall off my neck. So either way, something was going to fall. I really didn't like that feeling. So all I'm doing is just making sure that it's secured around the rig in here so it doesn't actually interfere with the mechanics of the holder itself. And of course I had to go and get a knot. It's easily fixable. It's uneasy. Not area. Let me get the loop. There we are. Alright. Okay. Now what I like to do too is just to make sure that the threading doesn't come apart, I'll put a little bit of this glue on there just to kind of seal the deal, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Ugh. This is the flexible glue that I was telling you about. This stuff kind of moves with things, so where it's around the mechanics of the actual head part here, it's kind of, you kind of have to secure that in place a little bit, I think. A lot of movement. Oh my gosh, that's way too much. Suck it that in. There we go. Oh well. That's no big deal. The glue dries pretty clear, so it's really not a big deal. And like I said, it's super flexible. There. It looks pretty again. And I just want to get a little bit on this side too, because there's some threading on that side as well. There, put that back. Yeah, I know my application technique is not quite down, but the end result will be worth the sticky fingers, I think. Perfect. Alright. Now I'm going to do the same to the other side. So I'm going to fold it down. Just like that. This one's going to be a little bit easier because it's not attached right now. So to actually sew it into those little holes and stuff like that is actually going to be a lot easier. Okay, so I noticed that you couldn't really see a whole lot in those shots, so I'm going to put the board back up here so you can really see what I'm doing here. Alright, so that, like I said, that one is still detached, so it's going to be a lot easier. So I got my thread now, and I'm just going to, well, I'll put my thread here because that's dangerous. I'm just going to pull this into position so it looks pretty before I sew it. And no, oh shoot, I should have pushed that in a bit more, I guess. Yeah, okay, we're gonna pull that in a little bit more. There we go. Okay. And push that down because, like I said, you don't want that in your mechanics. There we go. That's better. Yeah. Alright, so wow, this is not easy to do when you're trying to wrap it tight. There we are. Perfect. I think I got her. Maybe. There we go. So I already got my knot in my thread, obviously, because it's good to be prepared ahead of time. And I'm just going to start turning it through. You want to try to hide the leftover thread from your knot if you can, just so it stays together better. It's never a good thing to cut them because then they end up unraveling over time, I find, and you really don't want that to happen when you've put this much effort into something, because it's a real pain in the butt to have to do it. To have to redo it. Wow. Okay, that was way backwards. Anyways. Oh, and just so you folks know, my tank top is actually my weak attempt at being ironic and funny, considering I am a vegan. So, for anybody thinking that I'm making fun of vegans, trust me, I am not. I am one. And I am also an amateur, I don't know what you call me, I guess comedian. I think I'm funny. Most people, I don't know if they would agree, but I think I'm funny. Oh, so close to being finished. I'm so excited. Alright, so still got a little bit left here. I just want it tight so that it looks, you know, at least somewhat manufactured. It doesn't have to be perfect, but, well, I like perfection, but I'm my own worst critic, usually. Most people are, though. As long as you're never satisfied with your work, you will always have great work, I think. Although sometimes I got on that extra push and I really didn't need to, so there is also the breaking point of creativity. If you go beyond, it can be garbage. But for the most part, it's just a lot of fun. Especially when you see the final result. Yeah, you know, sometimes it's work. But man, it's so satisfying when you see people out in the streets saying, "Where'd you get that? How'd you make that? Who made that for you?" And every single time you can look at them straight in the face and say, "I made that. I did that." and nobody helped me. Not even YouTube. Although I love you, YouTube. Here we go. So if you like these DIY things, I'm actually going to start a separate channel, I think, too, for the DIY stuff, because it's kind of like, this is my band profile type stuff where I do all my music, right? And so the views and stuff are not reflecting on my DIY stuff, they're reflecting on my music, and I want to know what's going on with both. So I am going to go ahead and start another YouTube channel and move all my DIY stuff over to there. And but I'll put a link on my band page to instrument repair, so anybody can find it. And if you have an instrument that you need repaired and you don't have anybody to go to, and you really don't have a lot of money, I might be able to help you out. I might not be an expert in everything, but I think my brain works. At least that's been my experience so far. I'm sure a few of my exes might have something else to say about that, but like I said, who cares what anybody else thinks, right? You be you, you do you, and that's all you need to do. If you want to look at my band stuff, my band's name is, I actually have a couple bands. My original band, where I help arrange the music and write the lyrics and that sort of thing, is named Artemis Arrow. It's a all original heavy metal band, kind of like, we went for like an Iron Maiden sound, so you can actually hear my lyrics, and we get double, what do we call it? Double guitars, double bass kick. I scream a lot, but on key, I hope. And yeah, so check that out. And I'm also a DJ, and my DJ name is, let me see if I got a card. Maybe I can just, probably do. It's probably hidden though. Alright, wow. I know I have one. Give me 1 second. Aha, Eureka. So, okay, so this is my band, one of them. I just joined a new one, but this is my band, and this is our band information, if you ever want to check it out. My finger's probably in the way, and there's probably a light issue, but there you go. And this is my DJ company. And that looks like it might be a little bit on the backward side, but hey, mirrors are great, right? So, there you go, that's my DJ stuff. And there's my DJ information. Check me out, hire me. Hire me for DIY, hire me for Jane of all trades work at your house, hire me for organization, you can hire me for teaching singing lessons, you can hire me to play music, you can also hire me to marry people. I'm also a reverend priestess in the Druid faith. I have been since 2011. Not sure if you can read all of that, but I am ordained and I can marry people, and I can also perform some pretty cool ancient Druid and Wiccan traditional festivals and weddings and that sort of thing, so get at me. I'm on Facebook as the Maritime Wiccan and Pantheistic Naturalistic Association, and I'm also on there for DJ Deana-D and Artemis Arrow, and you can also find me there. My personal page is Deana, Donovan. So, if you like what you see and you want to hire me, you're welcome to give me a shout. So we're going to reconnect all this now. So make sure that we're still recording. And we're about to end, so man, I've got perfect timing that time. Not any other time. Alright, here we go. So that's on the inside, and we just gotta shove this stuff back together. Just like wing nut. There you are. Make sure it's good and secure. Good. And I'm going to try to see what this feels like. Oh, nice. That's way better. Wow. What a huge difference. I'm going to get my harmonica and see what it feels like. I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. That's kind of in my face now, so I'll put it down. I'm going to show you that harmonica that kept popping out because I really want to try and see if this works. If it doesn't, then I'm going to have to rework something and you'll be witness. So, this is actually a box I made for it. My name's on one side. The other side says, Monica Lahornsky. Ha 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 ha. That's how Drew very, very bad humor comes spewing out of my mouth frequently. And a lot of people don't know how to take me. It's kind of funny. So, I made this box completely with padding and everything. Like, I actually created the padding for it. And all the padding on the inside here. Not sure if you can see all the different pieces and bits to it. It's very, very thoroughly carved and glued. And this is that Kosh chromatic I was telling you about. And yes, it is sincerely way over 100 years old. And it was in rough shape when I got it. And I refurbished the whole thing. I took it completely apart. I completely cleaned it. I pounded out the metal so that it was, well, I tried to make it not have any bumps in it, but there is some places that were just not, I just wasn't able to smooth them out. So anyway, that's what that is. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try to put this precious instrument in my harmonica holder. Hopefully it works. Look at that. Oof, that's awesome. So there. Not the best playing, but I just wanted to give you an indication that that's not going anywhere. It's not popping out anywhere. That's fantastic. Perfect. Success. Till next time. Ciao. I just realized that I didn't actually show you the finished product from the other side. So this is what it looks like. It's actually pretty cool. I don't know if I'm going to leave those arms bare. I might have to do something really cool with them, actually. Because this is pretty cool. And this is what it looks like from my view. Well, I hope you enjoyed it today. And stay tuned for the next episode of DIY Instruments. Period.